right, moving on to the power of money. Former New York Governor Elliot Spitzer is back in the political spotlight. Spitzer, who resigned as governor amid a prostitution scandal, you probably remember that, right? He is planning to run for New York City comptroller. And he's not the only disgraced politician getting back in the game right now. Former Congressman Anthony Weiner is currently running a competitive campaign for New York City mayor. What is it with these guys? Are they just addicted to power and money? Here to break it all down is psychologist Mike Woodward. Welcome back to the show.
It's good to be back.
Why can't these guys stay away? I mean, especially you look at somebody like Elliot Spitzer, who is incredibly wealthy and capable and could do anything, and he can't stay away from politics. What is the psychology of that these guys have to get back in the game?
Yeah, and they seem to have no shame, which I think drives a lot of us crazy because we don't seem to get it. It doesn't make sense. Most of us would hide our head in the sand, but you know, research has shown that there are those among us that have a really high need for power. And once they get that power, that need continues to increase. It becomes like a drug. They just can't get away from it. And I think you're seeing that play out. You know, Weiner was only out of it for, what, 2 years before he decided to jump back in. And Spitzer, it was only less than a year, and he was already on a show, hosting a show and doing all kinds of other stuff. They can't, what happens is they gravitate to these positions of power. They embrace it, they love it. They're validated because, particularly in these cases, they were elected there. So they feel popular, then they feel empowered and entitled, and they just can't stay away.
I guess, I mean, it always seems like ripping the, you know, the whatever it is, the scab off again and again when you bring them back, all back out. And they are forced, and their families are forced to live through the scandal again, because as soon as they come into back to the spotlight, we all start talking about it. Anthony Weiner, I don't know if he could really get another job. I don't know what his credentials are. Elliot Spitzer, I've met many times. I've sat next to at dinners. He is very charming and very bright. He could for sure do a million other things, but like you said, he can't stay away from the spotlight in particular. Is that what makes them successful?
Well, I think part of it is that innate drive that they have. So they can't stop it. They can't turn it off. They're driven and they gravitate to it. They need it. Yeah. Now, part of that, these guys are also characterized by that need to assert control, be dominant. So that's part of what allows them to kind of beat people up and take that stage and not be shamed. They have that thick skin and they don't care. You know, for them, it's not ripping the scab off. For their families and the rest of us, it probably is. And we feel that, but they don't seem to feel it.
What is it about the psychology of a person that's really successful in politics that also has, you know, this need to chase women? I mean, it seems like these things go hand in hand again and again, that they need attention from the outside, both in the political realm and the power, but they also need, you know, whatever it is, they need this, you know, I mean, they need sort of the sexual feedback all the time, too, that women love them as well.
Yeah,
what is that?
Part of that, it's a kind of a way to assert dominance in a sexual way. It makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel like they're doing something. Remember, these guys are also risk takers, and they enjoy that, and this is risk-taking behavior. These guys, I mean, to any sane person, you think, how are you going to get away with this? Someone's going to find out in the 24-hour news cycles and social media, but they're blind to that. They feel like they can get away with it, and that's what makes me worry. I think you have to ask yourself as a voter, is that risk-taking behavior going to manifest itself in negative ways?
Because there are other people who have been publicly shamed who have come back, and we were talking about this at the beginning of the show. And I mean, you talk about somebody like Michael Milken, who went to jail and then came back and has had a magnificent career since then, doing incredible philanthropic things, also professionally very successful, you know, within the financial world, has really rebuilt himself and, you know, totally rejuvenated his image. You know, it's a different way of going about it. Why is that different? Because he was also a very public figure, also very wealthy, also very powerful, and also, you know, somebody who needed a lot of feedback and power and control.
Well, he also spent time in jail. I think we got to remember that. That's a big difference. He actually did go to jail, then came out and realized, you know what, I paid a heavy, heavy price. These guys paid prices with, they lost their power. You know, they lost what they loved, and they're scrapping and fighting back for it. But I mean, he really paid a heavy price. I think when he came out, he found a way to manifest that drive and that need for control and power in a really positive way by raising hundreds of millions of dollars for medical research, by reshaping his image, doing his conference, which is very popular every year, and giving back.
He's a tremendous speaker, and he's also made a lot of, you know, incredible investments since then as well. All right, thank you so much for coming on. I like that. That was fun. All right, coming up on Money.